Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. Today we are talking about the season finale of Loki. So episode 6, the one where they ended it all off, and if you watch what I said last week about episode 5 and who I thought was behind it, I was 100% right.
Now we're never going to hear the end of it.
That's right. Yeah. I was,
No,
yeah.
you were 100% right.
At the end, we did find out. That said, there is spoilers. So if you don't want to know what we're going to talk about, just
Go see it
pause
first.
this, go watch it, come back. Okay? That said, there's your warning.
And that's all you get, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So as I said last week, I thought that Kang the Conqueror was behind everything. And this week we found out he was.
They didn't call him that.
They didn't call him that, no, but that is who he is. He is Kang. As we know, he is the one that was pruning all the branches so that he could always maintain control, exactly as I said. And that's what happened. It was really, really interesting to see. There was a lot of exposition in the episode. Kang explained a lot of why he did what he did.
And how he did it.
Which was really interesting. I thought it was really cool. And, of course, it was interesting to see Loki and Sylvie kind of fight a little bit over trying to figure out whether he was telling the truth or lying or what would really happen and what wouldn't really happen. Of course, Sylvie went out and got her way by killing him and then setting the multiverse.
Yeah. And as soon as she did that, and then they showed, you could see all the timelines skewing off. Yeah.
So, I mean, which, as I said, is definitely going to lead us right into
the multiverse of madness, right?
The multiverse of madness, which is where it's all going to culminate, exactly. Because, actually, I think it may go on a little bit beyond that, actually. Because,
really?
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium, which is the third Ant-Man movie, is going to have Kang as the villain. So I think that it might end up having something to do with that as well. And I'm guessing now that they've said that Fantastic Four is going to be the last movie in Phase 4, that might be where we see everything really tie up, because Kang is supposed to be a descendant in some fashion of Reed Richards, who's the leader of the Fantastic Four and whatever. So that could be what we see. So Kang could kind of be the big bad behind what seems to be Phase 4, I would guess. Kind of explaining his whole thing and,
doing what he did there.
Laying
it out on paper like that.
It really, it was really kind of good to see all that, because then you kind of have an understanding of how they've built the universe of Marvel so far and how they're going to expand it. And Loki pretty much bang on explains how that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was really good. And of course, the big thing was at the end, they do the big stamp, and it's like Loki will return in season 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was cool. I didn't think there was going to be a season 2, because they haven't been announcing season 2s of any of these shows yet.
No.
That was really good. And of course, you were saying off air, how you were confused by the fact that Mobius didn't recognize him.
Yeah. Like at the end of that, I was like, okay, like why?
And the reason is I believe Loki was put when Sylvie opened the gate and shoved him back. When she put him back, he went into a different time branch of the TVA.
Okay.
Right? Where that version of the TVA doesn't know who he is. Or whatever. Like it's weird, like how they're doing it. But
so I guess that's where they'll sort of pick it up.
Yeah, they'll explain it all, I'm sure, in season 2. It'll come about that they'll explain how things went the way they did and whatever. But yeah, it's really going to be quite the meandering, the meandering of all these timelines and how they're going to fit together and what they're going to do. And, Doctor Strange will give us a lot of answers, I'm sure. And Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man, the third Spider-Man. He's going to be in it the way, Tony Stark and Nick Fury were in the last 2. So he's going to be, because see, part of the deal that Marvel made with Sony was Marvel would write and hire all the talent and everything for the Spider-Man movies. Sony would produce them, and but there had to be an Avenger appear in each one of them with him.
Okay.
That was the agreement they made. So this one's going to be Doctor Strange. So it'll be interesting to see how that all ties in, because that's where the multiverse thing is really going to kind of really kick in.
Okay. I look forward to that.
Yeah, because that's the next thing that's going to, like, we'll get a little bit of it through What If as well, because What If is going to explore some of these different timelines. Because that's the whole concept behind What If. Yeah. Well, what if this happened? What if that happened?
Right, exactly.
You know? So, and what these what if things are going to be, they're going to be different branches of that timeline. So that's what's going to make it really interesting, is how they're going to pull it all together. And,
okay.
You know, I said to you off air, like, about the people that complain about these things.
You're saying that,
and they, you know, they complain about this and they complain about that. And a lot of what people need to remember is you have to realize Marvel plays the long game. They're not in it for just the short haul of they want to win these 7 games. No, they're there to win, like, the Stanley Cup kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're there right
from day one. That's where they're going. Yeah.
When you look back at the different phases of the MCU, as I explained to you, phase 1 is the origin of the Avengers. And it ends with the Avengers coming together to fight Loki and save Earth. And then phase 2, it explains how the Avengers are kind of doing their own little things here and there, but at the same time trying to stop Hydra and start all this. And at the end, it culminates with them fighting Ultron and thinking, okay, well, we've saved everything. And they kind of start to go their separate ways a bit. And then phase 3, it culminates again in them all needing to come back. Like Thor and Hulk have to come back from space. And they all, you know, the Secret Avengers have to come back and join the regular Avengers and all that to defeat Thanos. And that's the whole aspect right there, that's what they're doing. So phase 4 is them explaining how, well, okay, now we're building up the multiverse. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, that's all going to culminate probably in the end of phase 4, which is the Fantastic Four. And as I've said, Kang being somewhat of a descendant of some kind of Reed Richards, who's leader of the Fantastic Four, one would expect that with Kang being the villain in the next Ant-Man movie, that it's going to culminate and it's going to build over phase 4 and it's going to end pretty much with that, you know, that building.
All the little pieces are being put into place.
And that's what they're doing is they're putting a piece here, they're putting a piece there, they're giving us a little here, a little there. And, you know, we can see that in what Valentina is doing with U.S. Agent and Yelena as the new Black Widow. She's kind of building her own kind of twisted Avengers team. And, you know, so what we're seeing is we're going to see all these different things as they come together. We're going to see all that. So you have to give it that.
Give it time to.
Yeah, you got to give it time.
It's like making a stew. You got to give it time to cook.
Yeah, and don't just immediately think, well, this is going to suck or whatever. It's you know, you have to let them build what they're building, and they have to kind of basically start from scratch again with phase 4, because the first 3 phases were pretty much a 23 movie finite boom.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give them time to build it again. So that's what they're doing, and I'll bet you come the end of phase 5, we'll see Galactus. You know. So, I mean, anything is possible. You just got to give them time. And Loki, the best thing about this episode of Loki is it explains all the different timelines. And this allows them to make all the X-Men movies that Fox did, all the Fantastic Four movies that Fox did, the Daredevil movie that Fox did, the Netflix TV shows,
It opens the doors.
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter and all the previous Spider-Man movies and all those things, and the previous Universal Hulk movies, and it allows all those to be tied together to the main Marvel universe in a way, because they can now say, well, that's another timeline. That's another universe in the multiverse. And it allows them to bring all that together. It also allows them to do things like recast characters who have died or moved on. And it gives them a way to bring them in again if they need to, you know?
It's a smart move, really.
It's going to let them do a whole lot that, you know, is nothing... people complaining about stuff, it's what we're seeing is nothing that we haven't seen in comics over the last 70 years. Like, over the last 70 years, they've done all these things in different forms, in different ways anyway. So it's not like anything is going to be coming out of left field, you know. So, and Loki is explaining that. And that's what I really liked about the show. It primarily focused, of course, on Loki and Sylvie and Kang. There was a little bit of Mobius and the Judge talking, but for the most part, it was just Loki, Sylvie, and Kang, and them explaining everything and how things were going, and which I thought was really good. We needed that exposition to come about so that it makes sense for what's going to come. And now we can look back at WandaVision and the end credit scene of episode 9, where she's sitting there studying the Darkhold and she hears her son's voices. Well, that can be explained now as they're coming from another universe, in the multiverse, and that's what she's hearing. So that allows them to then bring those characters in from another universe. Like there's so much there that, and I'm telling you, really, like Spider-Man will get into it a little bit with the Spider-Verse thing and all the different Spider-Men coming and all the different villains coming and whatever. But what's really going to kick it is going to be Doctor Strange. That's where we're really going to see things. So
something to look forward to.
Loki is explaining all that, and I'm going to be honest. If you haven't watched Loki at all, like I know we have some viewers that have said they don't get into it. Paula, Kim, yeah. And there's a couple of them haven't really watched or whatever. But in order to understand completely the next Spider-Man movie and the next Doctor Strange movie and all the things that are coming, you really do need to watch everything Marvel puts out because it's all interconnected. And
come on, Pete, get with it.
I know it might be hard to, because you might be like, oh, well, I don't find it that interesting or whatever. But if you want to understand what's coming and you want to be able to understand it in a better way, you really need to kind of watch everything. Like you have to watch WandaVision. You have to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You have to watch Black Widow. You have to watch Loki. You have to see them all to see how they're going to tie them together. Yeah. So, because there will be stuff mentioned that'll be like, you'll be like, well, how did they get to that point? Like if you never watched Loki, you would never have seen the timelines all branching and whatever.
Right, exactly.
I mean, maybe you watch this show and you get it from that, but and that might be how you're going to keep up on it. That's fine. But, for people who don't, like they're missing out on that explanation that's going to come. And
it helps put everything into perspective.
It does, yeah. And I think Loki did it really well. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 2.
Yeah. And I'd be curious to know where they go.
And I'll be interested to find out when they're going to release it because it's like, that was just like completely out of left field for me. But yeah, it was really neat to hear the explanations of things. It was really neat to hear, and of course, Kang warning them about, well, if you think I'm bad, there's way worse. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that aspect comes into it, right? And then of course at the end we see Loki seeing the statue of Kang.
Yeah, exactly.
In the TVA, right? It's
weird how it works, eh?
It's all interesting to see how things are going to go. So, I guess we're going to.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And we'll find out. We'll hear about it. We'll see it. It'll all come about on screen.
And of course, we'll talk about it. So,
what was your favorite part of the episode?
My favorite part. Again, I wouldn't say there was necessarily a favorite part.
You sure?
Yeah, I just...
I thought you really liked how he plopped everything down and said, there, I seen whatever, there it is, all written.
Well, yeah, I did. Well, it was just that I thought that was where he made his mistake.
Right.
By showing them, I know what's going to happen, see? And he let them see what's going to happen so that they can say, oh, well, that's what's supposed to happen, so now I can go this route. You know what I mean? Logically.
But it wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know. But logically speaking, if it's laid out in front of you, and you don't want to follow what's going on.
But see, at that point, he explained that by they crossed the point of no return or whatever, where he didn't know what was going to happen.
That's right. At that point, he realized that.
But up to that point, nothing they did would have been any different than what he had written.
That's right. Exactly.
They could have read it all, and they still would have done exactly what he said. Because that was exactly what was supposed to happen to that point.
Yeah. It was weird how all of a sudden he kind of went, things are different. You
Yeah.
know, like now I don't know what's going to happen. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was strange when that. But again, there it is. You know, so I was just, I was watching to see where it was all going to go. I didn't have a, as I say, I didn't have a favorite
Didn't have a
part. I
clue,
was
eh?
just anxious to see where the hell it was going to go. But, you know, then all of a sudden she kills him, and then you see all the timelines going and going, oh, okay,
Yep.
I see where the.
Well,
yeah.
they'd started before that, but when she killed him, that's when they really started.
That's
to
when they really
flow
went,
off.
but yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. So
Like little snakes all just coming out of the.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I thought my favorite part was when they were fighting, and Loki says to Sylvie, he's like, something about I don't think he's lying, and he says, you know, and I know because I'm a liar,
Yeah,
or something
that's
like
right, that's right.
Like I know because I'm a liar. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he's lying, and I know because I'm a liar, or whatever. I thought that was really interesting. To see that aspect of it, like it was really kind of cool. It was like, yeah, I wonder
Right,
if he's
and then
right.
he mentioned about the fact that you know he'll always lie, and she'll never trust
Right.
anybody. Like that's just who you are.
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think they both overcame that by the end of it, though.
Well,
I think she learned a little bit on how to trust him, and he learned. How
well, she
not
didn't kill him or try to. You know, she just threw him through the portal. So
Yeah.
maybe it's hard to say, I guess, but
Yeah. So I thought it was a really good episode.
I'd be curious to know what
really-
happens to her now that she killed him.
Well, she's at the end of time, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
right, literally at the very
Yeah.
end. I wonder what's going to happen.
That's one of the things I thought.
But she's got
after.
one of the TVA controllers, so she can kind of go wherever, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to do it, what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to season
Me too.
2 now. Like I'm just like, oh man, I want them to like just go right into season 2.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, so anyway, what did you guys think of the episode? Did you really like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, what didn't you like
Did you
about
like the
it?
series in general? Really?
Yeah. How are you seeing the way things are going with Phase 4? Like, do you understand the what I said, and how you kind of need to watch a little of everything, and you have to kind of give them time to put it all together, because that's what they're doing. And like, it's all going to be stuff like that. And I now believe that's how we're going to see Jane Foster as Thor, as the mighty Thor, actually, because with all these branch timelines, I'm sure that's how they're going to toss that in there now. I just like, there's just so much that is now. It's like, I see how they're going to do that. I see.
Well,
how they're
now
gonna
with
do
that opened, anything's possible.
yeah,
you know.
exactly, right? So I think that's what people have to really kind of understand, is that's what you have to give it the time to just branch and grow, kind of just like it's actually doing.
Yeah.
So, but let us know what you think. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. That by liking the video, that really helps YouTube,
With their
tell
algorithms
others
and stuff. Yeah.
that this is worth watching. So please click the like button, comment, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out superlativeradio.com, where you can see all of our vlogs, listen to our radio shows,
Yep.
and pick up some really cool merch. So
Check it all out.
yeah. That said, we will catch you guys. It'll probably be a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing new coming out until the very end of this month, where I will be talking about the new Masters of the Universe Revelation animated series on Netflix, and I will be talking about Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, also on Netflix, and they start the end of this month. And then in a couple weeks after that, I believe the 10th or something, or 12th of August, we see What If, Marvel's What If on Disney Plus. So stay tuned for all those. They are coming, and but we'll have a break between now and then, just a short hiatus of season 4.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys for another episode. And let's talk with a saw right here on Superlative Radio.
Stay healthy.